Welcome to WACSUN Weekly. WACSUN Weekly is the official Western Athletic and ASUN Conference podcast of FCS Fans Nation. WACSUN Weekly is hosted by Dustin Helton, Brandon Owens, and Will Seiler.
Welcome back, FCS Fans Nation, for, I guess, third regular season episode of WACSUN Weekly.
Fourth,
yeah, okay, with the halftime stuff, or overall, whatever. Anyway, it's like the third or fourth episode of this, and we're having a good time doing it. It's we just had week 2, a lot of good results to get to, but first, how are you guys?
extremely tired. Extremely tired. I worked all weekend.
Oh, gotcha. Did you get to watch much football?
Yeah, I worked at the beginning of the day on Saturday, and then I worked all afternoon today.
Gotcha. Dang, Rev, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. It was a good weekend. Got to see some good football. I'm kind of glad that a certain team I like doesn't play this Saturday, so I can have a little bit less stress this upcoming weekend. But no, it was good. It was a good time.
This weekend, do you have anything planned, or are you just going to live the dream down in Galveston?
I'm going to live the dream by watching other teams play football, I guess. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself now that SFA's on bye this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of time to do.
You could watch some more chaos happen.
I mean, there's opportunities for great chaos in the FCS this weekend. So
you can get the honey-do list done is what you can do.
She listens to our podcast, so don't egg her on.
Rachel, if you're listening to this, I didn't say that. He actually did all those things. You just don't know it yet. He's gonna surprise you with a completely done list. So
yeah.
Anyway, well, I was in Oxford all day yesterday for the UCA Ole Miss game, so I didn't get to watch much. So I'm gonna lean on you guys tonight to really talk me through some of these games I didn't get to see because I just saw a bunch of stats. So, but just to gloss over some of the results, the big one, Eastern Kentucky in 7 overtimes took down Bowling Green.
Finally.
Good God, I pick logically, and I still get burned. So I'm 0 for 3 now in games of the week. So it looks like I'm going to be doing something in Frisco. Cincinnati obviously got the big one over Kennesaw. Austin Peay over Mississippi Valley State, 41-0. North Alabama, big win over Virginia Wise. Ole Miss, over UCA. Jacksonville State over Murray State, 34-3. That was I did see a little bit of that one.
The beginning was we'll get into it. Never mind.
Oh yeah, Utah over Southern Utah. La Tech took down SFA, pretty big, 52-17. A big surprise here, Northern Arizona over Sam Houston, 10-3. We'll talk a little bit more about that because that was wild. And then TCU over Tarleton, 59-17. Abilene over Prairie View, 21-13. And then Utah Tech took down Chadron, however you say it, 52-10.
Yeah.
So, not a great slate of results other than, obviously Eastern Kentucky over Bowling Green. But I want to start with Sam Houston getting held out of the end zone completely. To Northern Arizona, a team that I know I guess it was last time they made the playoffs was like 16? I mean, not the greatest of programs. And that game was in Huntsville. Am I right?
Yes, that's correct.
What the heck is going on there in Huntsville with old Casey Keeler and his Bearcats?
So what do you think happens first? Will picks the game of the week correctly, or Sam Houston scores a touchdown?
Oh, dude, Sam Houston scores a touchdown because they'll probably score one this weekend, and I'm probably not going to pick correctly.
The thing with Sam Houston is they lost so many weapons that carried their team. They lost Eric Schmid at quarterback. They lost Jaquez Ezra, who's playing somewhere. I can't remember where he's at. They lost McCollum brothers on their defense, and their offensive line is struggling. And thankfully, they have a quarterback now who can actually move, but they don't have the protection that they had. This is like honestly surprising to me. I had to double check when I saw that result because I didn't think that was accurate. Because Sam Houston rarely loses at home, but now their last 2 home games they lost at home because their other last home game was the playoff game when they were the number 1 seed and they lost to Montana State.
Yep.
So I mean I know my buddy, as some really good friends who are Bearcat faithful, and we do trash talk each other, but we also Uriel and he said to me, he goes, I'm not even like confident that we're going to beat y'all at Balpine Woods with how bad our team has looked. Now, I thought they looked okay against Texas A&M. I mean, yes, they got shut out there, 38-0, I think was the score. But Texas A&M, their defense gave the Texas A&M offense some fits, and then their offense messed with the Aggie defense some as well. They just couldn't put it all together, and I think A&M's weakness was kind of exposed by Appalachian State this past weekend. So, I'll be interested to see what happens this week with Sam. I got to think they're going to get it right. I don't know if losing Ryan Carty to Delaware is another thing that's hurting them, because Ryan Carty knows how to win. He knows how to put together a playbook, and you've seen it with Delaware and their performance so far this year. So a lot of things going wrong in Huntsville, and it's really not the right time for them to go wrong. Well, let me back that up. Maybe it is because they can't win an Natty this year. They can't go to the playoffs this year. Maybe this is the year to have everything fall apart so you can fix it by the time you're bowl eligible and ready to go.
Yeah, you talked about thinking that it was an incorrect score. I did too, because I got on the ESPN app was glitching for me. And so I went over to the score and I was looking on there and there were no stats for the game. Like it was just a score and all the stats said 0-0-0-0. And I was like, oh, that's wrong. I was like, that's probably, a first quarter score. It's not actually final. And then I logged onto their website and saw they lost. I was like, what? So,
you said you used the Score mobile app?
Only like when ESPN doesn't work or something. I'll get on
ESPN
there.
has been up to date on all of my games. Score mobile has been trash for me this year.
I think it was just because I was like in a crowd of people. And so the ESPN app was, I don't know if it was the internet that was wacky or what, but I don't know. I got on the score and saw that it was no stats. And I was like, oh, yeah, they definitely beat Northern Arizona.
Yeah, like
Did
go ahead, Brandon.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Did any of their points come off, like Northern Arizona's points come off of turnovers? Because Sam had 2.
Well, I mean, only one of them could have.
Yeah, no, they got a rushing touchdown. I don't know if it came in off of that. What shocked me looking at these stats, Jordan Yates only passed for 111 yards and threw a pick. And he had 74 yards on the ground. Jackson had 63 yards on the ground. It's crazy about Noah Smith. Noah Smith was one of their best weapons last year out of the backfield, and he basically got shut down. Ifeade obviously led on defense because he's on receiving because there's no one receiver, but like these are not Sam Houston stats that you would expect to see. Like the lack of offensive output here is thoroughly shocking. And they're I don't know what else to say to it except just wow. Like you can put in the Owen Wilson wow clips over and over again, because that's basically how I feel. Basically how I feel looking at these stats.
That definitely a big surprise, and I think maybe changes how we'll touch on kind of our power top 5 deal, revisit the preseason one, because I definitely, if I know Sam Houston's not in it, but I assumed they would be the best team in the alliance this season, but I don't know. You're right, they haven't scored a touchdown all year, and I know it's only 2 games, but you've had 120 minutes of game time and have failed to put the ball in the end zone. So I don't know. Interesting what's going on in Huntsville. And if they don't win a game, I wouldn't be too upset. I know Rev would be thrilled if they went over.
If they could just lose on October 1st, I don't care what happens the rest of the season. Just with the last game, the last dance, let's just send them out of here for loss. But, with how SFA has been this year, that's going to be an ugly game to watch. I think.
This may be your best chance to get it though. If they really are bad, like, and who knows, maybe they'll get some kinks worked out. But like, obviously Jacksonville State took advantage of their, FBS transition period and has done well with the extra scholarships. So far, Sam Houston hasn't done anything to show me that they have.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we need a 30 for 30 on The Last Dance. We need like an FCS sponsored, FCS Fans Nation sponsored 30 for 30 on.
I'm gonna try to figure out how to go live from the suite that we're in, because I'll be up with some Sam folks that I know, and I believe Kyler will be there. So I'm gonna try to do something live from there. But it's gonna be a fun time. Let's talk about Eastern Kentucky though, because
I have it pulled up right here.
Yeah,
and that's where I was about to go. So the big result from the weekend: Eastern Kentucky, Bowling Green, 7 overtimes. EKU gets it done and came out with a win. When I was sitting here watching it, I was like, okay, yes, I'll be happy if they win, or watching the score, because y'all were texting in the group, and I was like, holy cow, they're in 7 overtimes. And I looked over to Bailey, and I was like, dang, I kind of hope they lose, because I picked them to lose. I was like, I hope they win because, go FCS, whatnot. But I was a little upset. So take me through what happened, because all I saw was the stats. So educate me.
I mean, I want to talk about stats first. I don't know if you looked the whole way through. They are basically even, which, I mean, it obviously makes sense with the score too being what it was, but just insane numbers that were just completely balanced out. When you looked at the score though, it was kind of insane, because Bowling Green went up. They were up heavily. The first half was 30. They're starting the first score. Nothing. I actually think it was, and then they scored. Eastern Kentucky put up 24 points in the second quarter.
Yep.
And then all hell just broke loose as they get into overtime, and I mean, just absolutely insane. And Parker McKinney was absolutely clutch. Braden Sloan as well was clutch for EKU in the overtimes. Both getting their 2-point conversions and everything else. Just a nutty way to end the game. I want to go back, since I have time, or when I have time, I might want to go back and rewatch it, just to watch the overtime sequence, because I mean, I can't even think of the last time we had a 7 overtime game in college football.
LSU, Texas A&M.
That's what I was thinking. Is LSU, Texas A&M, but like.
But there was like a 9 overtime game last season, but it was
Penn State and Illinois. I think, because in that game they kept switching ends, because whoever I want to say it was Illinois was the visitors, and they didn't want to be at the end with the student section at Penn State, and so they kept switching ends just arbitrarily, and that was I think that was like 9, because that was after they changed it to the 2-point conversion rule.
Yeah,
and it was wild. Looking at stats, though, Parker McKinney, 33 for 47 for 324, only 1 interception. Dakota Allen, as a tight end, go 6 catches for almost 70 yards. That's big time. He's averaging, over 11 yards a catch. Let's see. I mean, they kind of spread the rushing out quite a bit, but I'm impressed, and I think they might be them. Their body of work is probably better because of their strength of schedule, but them and Austin Peay, they may be on a collision course right now. And it's going to be a glorious matchup there whenever they do play.
Yeah, what was interesting about all of the overtime mess, both Bowling Green and Eastern Kentucky, once it got to the 2-point conversions, they ran each of them had a play they ran like 3 times in a row each.
Well, I'll tell you this.
And none of the defense, like Eastern Kentucky's defense and Bowling Green's defense, could not stop the other team.
I'll tell you this, just from experience, coaches carry like 1, 2, 3, maybe 2-point conversion plays. Or in high school, we had one play called 2-point play to win. That was literally the name of the play, and we ran it, and it worked one time, and we won a game on a 2-point conversion. But I know a lot of coaches have those in the back of their pocket that it's like, okay, we have a 2-point play to win, and we're only running it if we need a 2-point play to win. And so I was talking to a coach one time from UCA after they changed the rule, and I was like, so what does that do to your playbook? Like, do you have to carry 2 or 3 of those? And he was like, you're going to see a lot of teams run the same play over and over again because there's more than one option off a lot of those plays. And so it doesn't surprise me that they did that. App State against North Carolina. I don't know if you noticed, both 2-point conversions were the exact same play.
Yeah.
And they defended it well the second time. First time, just a bad throw. But it's kind of interesting with a 2-point overtime, which I think is kind of stupid. I think college overtime was good the way it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you're kind of getting into.
But it went so long. Those games went so long. Ask me how I know.
Yeah. Do you know the longest overtime game that your teams have ever been a part of?
My team? The KSU game.
Okay. Do you, Rev?
Ooh.
Or the longest one that you've witnessed, maybe?
Ooh, I don't know if it was the longest, but it was the wettest, and it was SFA UCA in the monsoon and Nacogdoches in 2012. That game felt like it took hours to play because of the foot of rain that fell on Nacogdoches that day.
I think I remember highlights from that. I was young, but I remember highlights.
I will tell you, I was sitting there, and it was crazy to watch them spot the ball, because as soon as they spotted the ball, it started floating because of the amount of water on the field. Like it was insane. SF hasn't had that many overtime games. Ironically, the last week and the last time we played Louisiana Tech was in 2000, and we won in overtime 34-31. But SFA hasn't had that many overtime games that I can remember actively watching, besides the playoffs last year with Incarnate Word. Usually we either win or we're getting, beat pretty bad. So it's usually not a thing we have to worry about. So
I would, I can't think of UCA's longest either, but, go ahead.
I was going to say Eastern Kentucky and Austin Peay is on September 24th. So you can go ahead and circle your calendar. But also too, while we're talking about EKU, let's give a shout out to Walt Wells. Dude had cardiac issues last week. He was back on the sideline Saturday. They were saying initially that he wasn't going to be there, and he's said he's going to be there. So, Coach, if you happen to listen to this, we're glad to see you back, walking around on the sideline on your feet. Look forward to seeing you just keep doing what you're doing the rest of the year.
I'm going to clip that out of the YouTube video, like on the app, and post that and tag him in that. So maybe he will see it.
Maybe he'll follow us now.
That's impressive. That really is impressive, because I know his cardiologists have got to be like freaking out a little bit that he's out there, because you know how much a college football coach yells and strains, and that's wild. Props to him. Tougher than I am, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at the rest of the results, man, it really was a week of blowouts, one way or the other. But I think that was off across college football. I was just talking about that with somebody else. There were just a lot of not great results. Now, there were a few good ones, a few great games, but there were a lot of, I think, maybe week 2 regressions. Everybody gets excited for week 1 and plays out of their mind. Week 2 takes a step back, maybe. So, Kennesaw State, what do you expect? You went to, a ranked Cincinnati, and
I turned it off after the first quarter.
Yeah.
Austin Peay over Missouri Valley,
didn't even really pay attention to that one.
I didn't either. I mean, but Austin Peay looks good again. Yeah, my dude DeLello, however you say it, DeLello, he is a dude.
Yeah,
and I am excited to watch him and Parker McKinney duel on the same field in 2 weeks. North Alabama, they beat their D2 opponent.
They were struggling early on.
Yeah. I tell you what, listening to UNA's head coach talk about, I think he knew they were going to get a little bit of a fight, because I think Virginia Wise is actually a decent program, if I'm
in the CIAA or
something
they're they're one of the top teams in their conference.
Yeah, and he was talking about, they're going to be motivated coming in here to a D1 program, and we're a new Division I program, so this is like perfect for them, perfect setup for us to lose a game like that. So props to them for getting it done. UCA lost 59-3 in Oxford. Again, what do you expect? Top 20, Ole Miss, whatever, it is what it is. Jacksonville State over Murray struggled early. I do want to talk about that one a little bit. 10-3 at halftime, right?
I don't really think it was struggling. It was just boring on both sides of the ball. Like nobody could do anything.
There for a little bit, it looked like you just couldn't put them away.
You look like the old Jacksonville State in the first half of that game. That didn't look like a Rich Rod Jacksonville State. That looked like a John Ross Jacksonville State. So,
well, it was boring. It was so freaking boring to watch. And then JSU started pulling away, and I was like, okay, this is Rich Rod ball.
Well, I mean, they did what they needed to do to, stay in my head as obviously probably the most talented team in the conference. Southern Utah got drummed by Utah.
I said that would be done at halftime. Well before
it was
halftime.
41-0 at halftime.
And I feel bad because Coach Fitzgerald follows me on Twitter. So, Coach, sorry, I hated saying that it was going to be done early, but it was just you guys were up against a monster. I still like your outlook for the year. So hopefully, you keep progressing. But you did. I mean, that was just a bad draw.
I mean, to get Utah the week after they get beat by Florida.
Yeah,
what was supposed to be their CFP season. Yeah.
What was unrelated to the ASUN and WAC? Holy cow! Has Utah, just this football in the state of Utah, gone nuts? So Weber State destroying Utah State.
Yeah,
like
that was another one I thought the app was wrong on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was insane. Props to those guys. I mean,
no joke.
If they're doing that to Utah State, there's no telling what they're going to. Because, I mean, Utah State, I know they're not, not Alabama, but they're still out. I mean, they outmanned Weber by 22 scholarships. So that's impressive.
The thing, too, is that I think it's either, I can't remember if it's Utah Tech or Southern Utah, but one of them plays Weber here upcoming, I believe. And that's going to be a fun one to watch. I mean, the Big Sky, I mean, you talk about way early overreactions. I feel like this happened last year where the Big Sky looks like insanely strong right now versus the other conferences. Like Missouri Valley has a little bit of struggles right now. I think that'll change as they get into their conference play. But I mean, the Big Sky looks absolutely dangerous.
If I was ranking power ranking conferences, Big Sky would be my number one.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Because teams in the Missouri Valley that we thought were going to be, world beaters, Southern Illinois looks bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate to say it because Missouri State is a team that beat UCA and they're still in the top 5. I think they're a talented team, but their lines struggle.
They have no defense.
I think they'll get manhandled in Fargo. Yeah, I think they play in Springfield, but either way, when they play North Dakota State, I think they'll get manhandled.
Yeah.
South Dakota State has some injury issues. I don't know that I think they could be a top contending team, but we'll see. The Big Sky looks solid.
Yep.
So that league
although
is
versus
doing
the simulator app doesn't say that.
Well, the versus simulator doesn't watch the games.
Yeah.
They just get the results.
Yeah,
they have the Big Sky as the 3rd best conference, and the ASUN is the 2nd.
Yeah, that is inaccurate. So let's move on from the
I will say we are not sponsored by the versus simulator app. Actually, I'm making those rankings on my computer right now, and it's sending them in. That's why I put the ASUN so high.
Speaking of, if anybody listening wants to sponsor us, just saying. We'll take the sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that money will go to good things.
It will. It's true.
Yep.
Moving down the line, La Tech, SFA. I really thought this one would be closer.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. It's the same. Oh, actually, I almost cursed just now with that, but it's the same thing. It's Louisiana Tech scores on the first drive. SFA gets a pick, the SFA punts, then we get a pick, run it down to the 1 yard line, Trey Self runs it in and scores. It was almost like a mirror image of how the SFA versus Texas Tech game started last year. And then I don't know what has happened with this team that they can't stop the run. I know that, we lost a defensive coordinator, our the DL coach, I believe our linebackers coach too, like that. They all left. They're at Louisiana Tech and TCU actually now too. And I don't know if it's just getting used to a new system or what. And I have all the faith in Colby Carthel. I really do. I think Colby Carthel is a great coach, is a smart coach. I mean, on this bye week he had this week, he's got to get on their ass on defense and say, guys, you've got to stop the run, because it's just, I don't know. It's you're making teams who can't normally run the ball, like Louisiana Tech, look like, Derrick Henry basically, against you. And that, you can't do that. I mean, they also on the offense have to figure out, and I thought they did this last week against Alcorn, but they have to figure out how to score and move the ball without Xavier Gibson. And because teams are just going to target him and double him, and somebody else, I don't know if it's Lawton Reichel, I don't know who it is, but somebody else has to step up and basically become the go-to. And nobody has really done that yet. And so they have a bye this week. They play, I don't know, I don't even, Acme University, I don't know who it is, Warner College, some NAIA school, because of all the scheduling stuff that happened with Incarnate Word and Lamar staying in Southland and going back to the Southland. So they've got kind of 2 weeks to get it together before Battle Piney Woods, and they've got to get it together, because everybody looks at the schedule and says, oh man, those are the rest of the year's winnable games. I mean, they've still got UCA. They've got ACU, who, while ACU is not world beaters, they're 2-0. They played very well in their games. So I just, I hope whatever malfunction they're having in stopping the run, they get on, because they've still got a great pass defense. It's just they're just a sieve basically for running backs.
And that's, I didn't think that would be the case, because last year they did well, or at least against us, as far as running defense went. And you'll have a really big D-line. And so I really thought you guys would be better at that aspect of your defense.
Yeah, they did the same thing to Jacksonville State last year as well. They stopped the run.
So
losing McFarland and losing some of the other guys just absolutely it's been a blow to the SFA defense.
A little surprised by that one. But going on down the line, Abilene Christian, alluded to them, beat Prairie View A&M 21-13. And you talk about identical stats. Let me just read this. First downs, 20 for Prairie View, 19 for ACU. Total yards within 2, 333 for Prairie View, 335 for Abilene, 240 and 225 through the air, and then 110 and 93 on the ground. That's about as dead even of a stats game as you go. And what's crazy is Abilene turned the ball over 3 times, and they were -2 in the turnover margin and still won. Yeah. And so I don't know if they just maybe finished a couple drives and Prairie View couldn't or what, but again, I didn't get to see it. But that was a game. I think I actually picked Prairie View. So again,
you did pick Prairie. No, I don't.
I picked Prairie View.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But yeah, so I don't know. Abilene might be pretty good. Like he said, don't look like world beaters. Is he frozen for you too?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, he's back. Anyway, Abilene looks decent. Like you said, they're 2-0, and see, they have Missouri next week, so they'll be 2-1. But it'll be interesting to see. They have a pretty favorable schedule. Do they play you guys twice?
Yes, because we have one that's technically a non-conference counter to make up for the it's either the Incarnate Word game or Lamar. Warner was Lamar. This one's make up for Incarnate Word.
That's a home and home we did in COVID season against Missouri State, but I've never seen one in a regular season.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat.
No, I guess the spring season. No, didn't the Southland do home and homes all last year?
They did because they only had like 5 schools.
Yeah, they only had 5 schools last year, so
they did. I didn't think about that. They had some non-conference counters and some conference counters.
Yeah,
because I think it was like Lamar and somebody else. Like they split, and it was like somebody won the conference game and somebody won the non-conference, and it was
But so looking at like the scoring summary, looks like Prairie View controlled 3/4 of football and then ACU just came alive in the fourth quarter. So like ACU had to come from behind and beat Prairie View.
Dang. Oh yeah, they did. Sure did. They scored 14 points in the fourth quarter. Look at them. Well, Prairie View is a solid program.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are. They've really recovered from how bad they were a few years ago. Like they've absolutely turned it around. Have a nice facility now. So it's I would say it's a good win by Abilene Christian. Honestly,
Well, some people thought Prairie View was going to win their division this year.
Yep, they were one of the ones who was picked to win the SWAC West.
Well, just looking at their SWAC, I know this is not a SWAC podcast, but we can talk some SWAC football. They avoid Jackson State, and they're
in the same division though.
Are
they not?
No, Jackson State's in the East.
They're in the East.
They get Alabama State, Grambling, Southern, Bethune-Cookman, Alcorn, UAPB, and Mississippi Valley. They could win the division.
Yeah.
Southern, I think, is decent.
Yeah, it's going to either be Southern, Alcorn, or Prairie View, I think, to be honest. Grambling's kind of one of those things, like you would always expect them to be competing, and it's just you never know what you're going to get out of Grambling football year in and year out.
Yeah.
So I do love some SWAC football, though. Shout out to any of the SWAC folks who listen to this.
Yeah. Some good football. We played UAPB last year in Conway. Glad we have that rivalry back alive. We play in Pine Bluff next year. So
I love their logo. They have one of my favorite logos in football.
It's pretty cool.
The way they put the UAPB in the lion's mane. Oh, it's so great.
It's funny when you tell somebody about it and they've never noticed it and they see it for the first time and they're like, "Oh my gosh!"
Like Will did to me last year.
Yeah, I pulled it up and I was like, "Look at it." And he was like, "Oh my gosh,
it's so sick!" Like
it is.
It is. I need to get some UAPB swag just for that logo.
I think I have a shirt. I think I can get you some. I'm only an hour from Pine Bluff.
Speaking of cool logos, you're going down the Utah Tech game. I don't know if you've seen Utah Tech's new logo, but the way that they did it with putting the shape of Utah in the negative space of the U.
Yeah.
Another beautiful rebrand.
Wait. Time out.
To be fair, Utah is just a square.
With a little pointy part, but still, look at the way they did the U. Like they.
Yeah. That's a good transition though to Utah Tech. They did beat Chadron 52-10. I don't think I talked about TCU and Tarleton.
You don't need to talk about that game.
Yeah, no, whatever. Yeah. Utah Tech did what they needed to do. Good to see them progressing, winning games that they should win, and winning them by margins they should win them by. Brandon is just in awe right now.
Googling Utah Tech.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never noticed that.
Yeah, they did that, and it looks good. It looks very good.
I love logos and the way you see hidden stuff in logos. Like it's just absolutely one of my favorite things to pick out. So the moment I saw that, I was like, "Oh, that's sick." So sorry, Will, didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good. Very cool. Let's see. Moving on down. I guess that is the all-inclusive recap of week 2, and we can move into kind of the middle segment here, and we have 3 little things we're going to do. First of all, we're going to look back at what we called our preseason power ranking, which did top 5, and see, would you change anything? Do you think it was good? Do you think it was bad? And maybe give hints as to what yours would be today. So, Brandon, I'm going to throw it to you first if you're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my preseason top 5 was Kennesaw, SFA, EKU, Austin P, UCA. As of now, I would probably have EKU in my top spot. I think they're the best position to get the AQ for the WACSUN. Next, I'd have Austin P, and then UCA at 3, and then Abilene Christian at 4, and SFA at 5.
I dig it. Rev, go ahead.
Yeah, mine was the same as Brandon, except I had Austin P as.
When did they join?
I know. Sorry, guys. Austin P at 5. Now, if I come back and look at it, it's EKU's earned that top spot. 1. Austin P 2, UCA 3. You can't fault UCA for their games. I mean, you can't. I mean, you didn't. Everybody expected the game against Ole Miss to turn out like that.
Yeah.
You know, and again, as Will mentioned, if you take away their special team snafus, that's a 20-20 game against Missouri State. So I think UCA is doing all right. So I'll take them at 3. I'm gonna put SFA at 4 because I think SFA would beat Abilene Christian right now. But Abilene Christian's number 5 on my list. Like they're steady. They're just steadily doing. They're like the Toyota Corolla of the WAC. They're just out there, you know, doing what they need to do to get wins. And so you can't fault them for it. So that's mine.
Yeah, we have the same. The biggest drop obviously is Kennesaw. That's the biggest surprise, I think. I really thought they'd be better than they are. EKU takes that top spot with Austin P. Man, they look good. I'm high on them. And then I actually had UCA at 4 in the preseason poll, but Kennesaw dropped completely out, so moved him up to 3, and then had SFA and Abilene to round it out. But yeah, I mean, I think you guys said it all. But man, Kennesaw is just surprisingly not great. And now you can't fault them for the Cincinnati game, but I think I don't know.
They should have beat Samford.
Yeah, they should have.
And should have won it big.
If they beat Samford, KSU still has my top spot.
Or even if they if they had won, even if it had been close, I would have left them there because you can't fault them for the Cincinnati loss.
That's the thing. Everybody's giving SFA crap for losing Jacksonville State the way they did and such. And I'm like, you have to give. I mean, Kennesaw State got obliterated by a team that was 4-7 last year. Like it wasn't even close. So yeah, that's why they tumbled. Their owls stopped flying in my top 5, just completely tumbled out of it. So
the thing with SFA for me, the reason I had them at 2 originally, and the reason I did drop them all the way to 4, well, I guess that's only 2 spots, but the Jacksonville State game, I do think it should have been closer because even though Jacksonville State does have extra, firepower, I don't think the talent gap is that big. And so there's still only 11 dudes on the field at a time from each school. And so I think that game should have been closer longer.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue with you on that. Like, I mean, I don't, like I've said on Twitter, SFA, if people are still voting SFA into the top 25, they need to stop. SFA currently, it's risky even putting them in the top 50 right now. And that's like, there's no way I'm going to argue otherwise and say, but like I put them just at 4 because there's no one else in the WAC or the ASUN that I think gets to that level still. That's really what it is. So, you never know, North Alabama might shock people this week and then you might have to reconsider it. But as of right now, as it stands, there's really only 3 good teams at the moment. And then in the WACSUN, and they're all in the ASUN, and then you've got the 2 WAC schools that are lagging behind.
So we kind of move out of that. I do want to revisit your overreactions from last week, and just is it still an overreaction or is it maybe realistic? I think did I end up with Austin P or Jacksonville State?
JSU?
Okay. I still think Jacksonville State is, in line to go undefeated, maybe even beat Tulsa. I think that one's like real. I even said that last week. I think that's legitimately realistic. So I'm gonna say that I'm gonna keep that going.
Yeah, mine was KSU will finish at the bottom of the ASUN. I think that's still somewhat of an overreaction right now, because it's still too early to tell. But so far, I am not impressed with KSU, and I think the only for sure win that they can get in the ASUN is UNA. Everything else is going to be a toss-up for KSU at this point.
Yeah. Mine was EKU is going to win the AQ, and I think that already spoke for itself basically with this weekend's performance. So I don't necessarily think they're overreactions. My other one was Southern Utah is going to finish 500, and I still stand by that. I still think they're gonna do a lot better than most people expect.
We'll have I think we seriously have a crash course or a collision course for September 24th with Austin P and EKU. That's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be such a fun game.
I just hope both teams win this week and go into it with a lot of momentum and just it'll be great. So here's the fun part of tonight. Dustin is now the host, and I'm about to get quizzed alongside of Brandon on some FCS geography.
Mhm.
And so if you're watching on YouTube, listening on whatever your podcast platform you may be using, play along and let us know. How many questions do we have?
We're going to do 5.
Okay, so if you do it, keep track how many you get right. Put it down in the comment section. Let us know how many you got right. And I think we can scrounge up like some stuff. Be honest, we're going on honor system here, and we'll see if we can't do something for whoever wins.
Yeah.
So
I will.
this will be fun.
Yeah. And what we're going to do here is best of 5. You guys answer at the same time. We'll keep points. So the reason why I'm doing geography, for those of y'all who don't know this, and a lot of y'all probably don't, is whenever I went to the illustrious Stephen F. Austin State University, I majored in geography because I went to school to be a teacher, and then I realized that I don't like other people's kids, so that kept me from teaching. So all right. So basically, here's how we're gonna do. I'm gonna name the school. You name the city. It's not that hard.
Are we doing? Is this like a race to answer?
Yeah, first one who gets it. First one who gets it gets it.
Oh my god!
What if we both go over 5?
Then you guys are pathetic. I'm looking for new podcast hosts because I have a couple of tiebreakers, and one of the tiebreakers you should get.
Okay, it may happen, but let's do it.
All right, ready? The first one, Duquesne.
I know it's in Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia. Pittsburgh.
There it is.
Nice.
There it is. So Will's got 1.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I was actually gonna say Philadelphia first, and then you said Pennsylvania, and I got really confident that it was Philadelphia. And so,
all right.
Thanks for the help, but there we go.
All right, this question's for the boys from Hack City. Campbell.
I have no idea.
Crap! I just saw the name yesterday.
They're in Virginia, right? Are they in Virginia?
They're in North Carolina.
They're in North Carolina.
Sorry, I don't know. I told you I told you guys in the group chat, east of Mississippi, I'm screwed.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hit the clock on here. It's Boys Creek, Beals Creek. I can't.
Okay.
It. Yeah.
Never would.
All right. Yeah. Just right outside of Raleigh, by the way. Raleigh's a great city to go visit if you haven't ever visited. All right. Will's favorite school, Mississippi Valley.
Oh God. Are they in Greenville?
No, that's Delta State. No, they're in Cleveland. Okay.
Yeah, they're in Cleveland.
Yeah. You're close though. Greenville's close. I might give it to you for geography, but.
Oh God, I'm worse at this than I thought.
That's terrible.
That's east of Mississippi.
Huh?
That's east of the Mississippi. So
yeah.
Can I pull up a map of Mississippi?
You can, but it's not going to help you because it's Itabena. Tiny little Itabena Miss. All right.
My dad is gonna. If my dad watches this, he's gonna be so disappointed.
All right. The 4th school, the University of Delaware.
Dover, Delaware.
That is Delaware State.
Yeah. Do I know a second city in Delaware? Let me see.
He's pulling up a map.
I am. Are they in Milford?
They are not in Milford. They're in Newark.
Oh my God.
All right. I'm gonna. You know what? I had a really hard one for number 5, but seeing as how you guys are terrible at this,
no, do it.
We're gonna scrap that and get an easy one. That maybe we can get a tie. So, the 5th one is Mercer.
Macon. I do know that one.
That is correct. And so
you went east of the Mississippi for all freaking 5.
Okay, fine. No, okay, fine. Here's the tiebreakers. We're Cal Poly. Do you know where Cal Poly is?
No.
That's what I thought. Doesn't matter.
It's in
San Paulo, California.
You're close enough. It's San Luis Obispo.
I was gonna say Pomona, but that's a branch. You couldn't tell me I was wrong though if I said Pomona.
I could tell you were wrong. Oh no, I want the main campus. Okay, that's like saying.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna scrap this segment for future ones because
No,
I know
That was so bad.
That'll be.
I know
That'll be a
if
fun
we do
one.
mascots, Brandon would probably absolutely destroy that on mascots. So you
That
know
was
what?
so bad.
God, you listen. Get a map. Read a book.
Did you know all of those? Like
I did.
off the top of your head?
I did.
Dang. I don't know if you asked me those
That's
5
impressive.
again. Like even if you asked me those 5 again right now, I don't know that I would get them right.
Duquesne.
Pittsburgh.
There you go. You got one. Campbell.
Something
Du
Creek.
Bois Creek.
There you go. Yeah, but
Bueller's Creek.
They're gonna hate us when they listen to this podcast. Mississippi Valley.
It's a bit.
yeah,
That.
Delaware.
Newark.
There you go. All right, and then I don't remember. I remember which one. Mercer, because I didn't actually write that one down because I took off St. Francis because I was like, "There's no way you're gonna know that one."
Nope.
South Dakota State.
Brookings.
There, see, okay, there you go. So shout out to Jackrabbit Illustrated and Splitting Hairs. I'm sure those boys are listening. And
Hey, that's a great way. That's a great segue into shouting out the network that we're part of, which is gonna hate that last segment. They're gonna be like, "Yeah." I'm gonna wake up in the morning. I'm not gonna have to set an alarm because Matt Frazier's gonna call me and be like, "Dude, be better."
Matt Frazier's gonna be like, "We need to have a call this morning about your show."
Yeah, department meeting. We're getting fired.
This will be worse than Chad's browser history on the B team. We're gonna get fired for this.
Oh man.
God, I try to come up with something fun, and you guys, God.
I think that's a great thing to do.
like
That's a great segment. That was just too hard. You should have started me out like.
Okay, fine. Like what? Okay, fine. Next time I'll be like Charleston State. I tried to stay out of our conference because I tried to because we all know where the schools are in our conference.
Oh
right?
yeah,
like,
but I know where like other schools are. I just don't know where those schools are, except for, Mercer.
Except for Mercer. Fine. Next time I'll make it conference specific, and I'll go all SoCon next time.
Okay, that'd be cool.
We'll
I'll
do
study.
all SoCon, and then next time I'll do all Missouri Valley. We'll do conference specific ones.
I like
It'll be a good time.
Yeah, we'll do.
It'll be a fun time.
Yep.
But seriously, talking about the network, if you don't already subscribe to FCS Fans Nation, make sure you do that today. I'm sure by tonight when we post this, there'll be 2 more come out before it and 2 come out after it, and all the content you could possibly want for your commute to work, your workout, whatever it may be. A lot of FCS football podcasts, and I'm willing to bet it's probably the biggest like FCS focused media outlet in the country, especially with all the focused content that comes out. If your school doesn't have one, I bet they get mentioned on it either way. So
it'd be awesome to get some other podcasts from other conferences that aren't in the network.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I know of some SWAC podcasts.
Yeah, there's some good SWAC ones.
Some other. There's a few SoCon ones. There's an OVC one. I think it's more of a radio show, but I think they post their stuff on like Apple Podcast.
Yeah. So no, real deal though. Subscribe there. Join the Facebook group. Just a ton of good content coming out. I could probably name the podcast, but I'm not going to try because I don't want to embarrass myself twice.
At least you didn't go 0 for 5 on that,
Hey, I went 2 for.
I know you went 2 for. You're better at that than you are at picking the game of the week.
I went 1, I think.
Yeah, I think 40%, which is better than I thought it could have been. But,
so if you're listening and you get more than 2, which isn't hard, be honest about it. Let me know, and if we get a bunch of people, we'll pick a name and we'll send you something cool.
Yeah.
So promise you, it won't suck, and it won't be Jacksonville State stuff either. So,
you didn't have to say that. You said it wouldn't suck. All right, going on. It's about to be week 3 of the regular season, and we have some good games this week. Let me pull the schedule up here.
Definitely better than your work at that game.
Yes. So first, UCA at Idaho State, traveling all out west to Pocatello, take on the Bengals. Austin P going to Alabama A&M. Charleston Southern at Eastern Kentucky. Jacksonville State getting a FBS game against Tulsa. Abilene Christian travels to Como to play Missouri. And then Southern Utah at Western Illinois. Eastern New Mexico, I'm assuming, at Tarleton. A&M Commerce at Sam. And then Utah Tech at Weber. That'll be a fun one. So we'll just get right into it. We have our game of the week. We'll talk about it when we get there. But UCA, Idaho State, big game for both programs, really. Probably a bigger game for UCA, I would say. Trying to get back on track, get back to the winning ways. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be nice, honestly, for UCA to play somebody that's not either super veteran and highly ranked in the FCS or Ole Miss. I mean, like we've had a gauntlet of a 2-week schedule with a guy that's going to be a Peyton Award finalist, and then obviously Lane Kiffin, and dude was throwing deep balls in the fourth quarter with like 10 minutes to go. But anyway, so I'm excited. I think that'll be a game UCA could, if we play well, we can win handily. Now, we are young, and I still think we have some kinks to work out, so I don't know that we're going to go up there and win by 40. I don't think we'll go up there and do that, but I do think we can go up there if we handle the travel well, handle, being 0-2 decent. I think we can go up there and win handily and show the country maybe that we're not bad. But that's just my thoughts. I don't know if you guys have anything. I think Idaho State's trying to figure out who their starting quarterback is because they've had 2 guys on the stat line that have been clearly that one played more than the other both times. So I don't know if I haven't looked enough to see if maybe somebody got hurt in the first game, but he also played in the second game, so I'm assuming he didn't. I'm assuming they're trying to find a starting quarterback, but I don't know.
Well, first of all, sorry when you saw me go like this. My one of the fat ass cat jumped off the couch and almost knocked off the microphone. Anyways, so
podcasting from the jungle.
This cat looks like the Lorax. Anyway, when you look at the games for Idaho State, they played 2 FBS opponents. They played San Diego State, lost 38-7. They played UNLV and actually put up some decent points. 52-21 was the score on that one. They're at home for the first time this year. You never know with Idaho State what you're going to get out of them because sometimes they will come in and pull some upsets. I think it's disadvantageous for Central Arkansas to have to go from Conway to Mississippi to Pocatello, Idaho. That's not an easy traveling to do. I think it'll be close. I might take Idaho State on this just because they are at home. That might be the only thing. I don't think it's a slight against UCA. You never know what happens when you get in Idaho and you play in one of those ugly domes that they call their stadiums there. So, because let's be honest, both the Holt Arena and the QB Dome are both just ugly. But
the spirit of Chris Hammond is here now.
Yeah.
He is pissed.
Chris is gonna be so mad at me for making fun of the side man. That's the QB Dome. But I would say the Holt Arena is uglier, Chris, if that makes you feel better. So no, I'm gonna take Idaho State. I would like to see UCA do it. I'm just basing it on the fact that Idaho State is at home. They've had 2 FBS games, so they've really been tested, and that's just it. I would love to see UCA win though, but I'm gonna just play it that way.
Well, I'm going to take the opposite and say UCA has been tested too, playing a top 5 FCS team, playing a top 15 FBS team. Now, granted, the FBS team was a complete blowout, unlike Idaho State's FBS games, but Idaho State played horrible FBS teams, with the exception of San Diego State. But I think because UCA is tested as well, I think, and they have pretty much their entire team together, they're like scheme together. I think they're gonna pull it out, not by much. I have UCA winning by 4.
Yeah, I mean, I just gave it the benefit because of the travel. Like, I mean, UCA could easily win this by 14, and I wouldn't be surprised either.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of depends on which one of the which version of the Fighting Will Siler shows up to this game. If it's a team that's playing with inspired ball, then it's going to be then it's going to be a long day for the Bengals. But if it's a team who's kind of dragging from the game last week, then the Bengals will jump on that and capitalize.
I will say this. Travel to a place like Idaho State may not be as big of a factor as one would think, because we bused to UIW when I was a junior from Conway. That was like a 12-hour bus ride. And then when we flew to North Dakota State, it was like, dude, we were in our hotel 3 hours after we got to the airport. It was like, this is cool. So, I mean, they'll have a bus ride after they leave. I'm assuming they'll fly into like Salt Lake City or Idaho Falls, so they'll still have a bus ride, but maybe it won't be as intense of a travel as like going to New Orleans or going to San Antonio, but still definitely a test on the body for sure. Just flying in general. Austin P, who we are all high on, going to Alabama A&M, and I'll go ahead and say I don't see Austin P having any trouble. I think they really are good. And I know Alabama State back, I guess, was it the spring season that they won the East, the SWAC East?
Yes.
Alabama, wait, you say State or A&M?
A&M.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I guess it was spring season. They won the East.
Because the SWAC championship was Alabama A&M and UAPB.
Okay. Yep.
So, I mean, they're not that far removed from being a good team. What, Brandon? Did I misspeak?
I thought it was Jackson State.
During the spring season, I think it was. No, I think it was Alabama A&M and UAPB.
I might be wrong. I don't know.
I mean, I may be wrong too, but I thought I was. Anyway, I don't think Austin P struggles this week if my boy DeLello or Delela, however you say it, I'll never say it correctly, but if he keeps balling out, they'll keep winning ball games. And as long as Scotty Walden is still screaming during interviews, then they're going to be just fine. And I don't see him stopping anytime soon.
Scotty Walden's my favorite coach. He's one of my favorite coaches. I freaking love him for it. I love him for that too. So, no, same thing. Alabama A&M's played Troy and played UAB, and they haven't shown up to either game. I don't think they just have the legs to keep up with Austin P. I think that one gets ugly quick. I'm gonna say Austin P by 28-ish, honestly, and that might be low ball on that number.
I might actually try to go to this game because it's in Huntsville, where I'm from. Might be a good one to get the family out of the house and go watch it. But I mean, nothing much more to say. All I'm going to say is I think Austin P will win by 35.
Nice. Just touching on this, Alabama A&M beat UAPB in 2020, 40-33. So it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was UAPB. But anyway, I just had to throw that in there.
Had to be right.
If I'd been wrong, I would have just, all right, moving on. But anyway, it's going to be Jackson State this year. So that's for sure. But moving on, Charleston Southern, EKU. I don't think this will be too tough of a game for EKU, but Charleston Southern showed some fight against Western Carolina in that first game of the year. And so I don't think they'll just cakewalk. Now, it is in Richmond, but that's, not a far travel really for Charleston Southern. So I like Eastern Kentucky. I think they'll pull it out. But if they don't prepare well this week and, rest on their laurels a little bit, FBS win, I think you could see them struggle a little bit.
Mhm.
Maybe just not put it away until late in the fourth quarter, or have to play from behind if Charleston Southern comes out inspired. So I'm going to take EKU, but I'm going to say maybe they take a little bit of a step back.
Yeah, this is the almost definition of a letdown game, because you're on that high of getting the scalp, and 7 overtime game. I mean that takes a lot out of you. Richmond's going to be hyped though. That stadium, Roy Kidd is going to be just hyped after the way they played the first 2 weeks on the road. Charleston Southern, they did hang in with Western Carolina, but Charleston Southern's not a good team. No offense, Bucks fans, but you're not. I think EKU starts off slow, but then runs away with it in the second half.
Yeah, I think Parker McKinney is going to have a breakout game against Charleston Southern. I don't think he's gonna mop the floor with those guys. EKU, big, no
Strong
number,
language.
just big.
Strong language there, mopping the floor with them. That is, maybe so. I just think that they'll have a little bit of a letdown.
Yep.
We'll see. Jacksonville State, Tulsa.
It's an FBS game.
Yeah, I don't know why we're talking about this.
Oh, we're talking about this. It's an FBS game.
Is this FBS Fans Nation? Well, I tell you what, I'm taking the Gamecocks. I think Rich Rod will probably put. He's a big practice guy. I know that sounds weird. I think every coach is a big practice guy, but he talks about how he tries to make practice the absolute hardest part of a football player's preparation, and the game is easy when you get there because practice was so bad and so hard. So I'm going to take the Gamecocks. I'm going to say they go into Tulsa and come out with a win. And if they're on to be undefeated, that's just my opinion. But yeah, I'm going to say they get the win this week.
Yeah, I'm going to take JSU as well. To me, Tulsa is not a very good team. They have been, but last year and this year, they haven't been a very good team. But Tulsa will go down fighting. They always tend to play to the level of their competition. Doesn't matter if it's FCS, FBS, Group of 5, Power 5. They seem to play up to the level of their competition. They have a lot of close losses, close wins, like the past couple of years. So JSU, but it'll probably be like a 3 to 6 point win.
Yeah, here's the thing. Tulsa lost to Wyoming. That's all you got to say. Tulsa lost to Wyoming, and Wyoming's awful. It's kind of funny. I got a friend whose daughter is actually a track athlete at Tulsa, so I kind of root for Tulsa now because supporting them. But honestly, Jacksonville State's gonna just obliterate them this game. I don't even see it being close. It's gonna be a nice FBS win for Jacksonville State. There's nothing else to say.
I just to speak it, Tulsa beat Northern Illinois by 3, who only beat Eastern Illinois by 7. So I know the transitive property does not work in football, but I still use it because you still can compare teams, I think. So yeah, Jacksonville State. I'm gonna say they roll. Abilene Christian going to Como, take on Elia Drinkwitz and the Fighting Missouri Tigers. I think Abilene's good, but it's an SEC school. They're the athletes are going to be different.
The worst SEC school.
Hey, yeah, Vanderbilt, dude, coming out of the freaking cellar. Go Commodores. They will be the best program in the country at some point, in the words of their coach, not me. But, yeah, Missouri rolls, wins by probably 30.
Yeah, that game's going to be over at halftime.
That's the game that's going to be over at halftime.
That's going to be over. That is.
I don't think so.
Halftime. Yeah, I think so.
I don't think so. Missouri is bad.
But
they're an SEC.
Bad.
They're SEC bad. It's not ETSU against Vanderbilt. It's Abilene Christian. who, well, like I said, they are the Toyota Corolla of the WAC. They are not, that's not going to beat a team that honestly is more. I mean, granted, they're bad in the SEC, but they're still more of a muscle car versus your Corolla, your dependable, get into the grocery store sort of car. So I think it'll be over at halftime. Abilene Christian's just not there yet. If Cats prove me wrong and they win, I will donate money to Abilene Christian, one of their players' funds.
I'm still picking Missouri. Yeah. I just think Missouri will it'll be a closer score than what people think.
The line's not out yet, but I'll say this: if Abilene covers, I will donate $100 to one of their foundations.
Missouri ran for 300 yards on La Tech.
Yeah,
they're gonna run for 300 on Abilene. I mean, yeah, it's gonna happen. They're gonna win big.
Yep.
Let's see, where was I at? Southern Utah, Western Illinois. This is a
battle
toss-up.
For the worst FCS school.
Yeah.
Somebody go, because I don't.
It's in Macomb. It's in Macomb though, isn't it? It's not in.
Yeah, it's in Macomb.
Okay, so here's the thing about playing Macomb. Traveling to Macomb is an absolute pain in the ass to do because you have to fly into Iowa and then bus to Macomb, and the visitors' locker room is nowhere near the stadium. Like it's you should sometime ask Brendan about playing in Macomb because he'll tell you stories about it. So things like that, like weird things happen in Macomb. I remember when Western Illinois was like a playoff
very
team
good,
ago. Really good,
very good.
And now they have just become crap. I want to pick Southern Utah. I'm just not going to because of the Macomb factor, because Western Illinois is at home. If this was in St. George,
Cedar City.
No, Cedar City. Yeah, they're 15. They're next to each other. They're not that far away. So yeah, Cedar City. If this was in Cedar City, I would pick the Thunderbirds. This is a legit just weird stuff happens in Macomb, and that's why I'm picking Western Illinois. But I would love to see Southern Utah get the win.
Yeah, I'm going Western Illinois on this one. This is their first home game of the season. So yeah, I'm taking Western Illinois.
Yeah. Give me if weird stuff happens there. I was unaware that weird things happen there, but if weird things happen there and it's first home game, for sure, give me Western Illinois. Eastern New Mexico and Tarleton. I mean, anybody gonna disagree?
I'm checking something real quick on who Eastern New Mexico's actually played this year. They're not a bad D2 school. And this is
they're in the Lone Star Conference, are they not?
Yeah. So I'm looking to see if who they've actually played, but it's not coming up. So yeah, I'm going to just take Tarleton.
They have played New Mexico Highlands and Midwestern State.
Did they beat Midwestern or did they lose to them?
They lost by 14.
See, yeah, then I'm going to take Tarleton. If they had beat Midwestern, I would probably consider taking them, but no, not with a 14-point loss to Midwestern. I think you got to take Tarleton, even though Tarleton really hasn't impressed me so far this year.
Yeah, I'm sticking with it. Go Texans.
Yeah, I'm taking Tarleton.
I just want to point out though that you put ENMU on the schedule, and I realized who that was on the fly. Like the first time I read the schedule, other than I read it to go look at like games and think about what I was like, prepare a little bit, but I read it and I was like, oh God, who is this? Eastern New Mexico. So I do have knowledge, I promise.
Look, I'm not typing out Eastern New Mexico in the damn text, okay?
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that you need to. I'm just saying that, hey, be proud of me. Even though I failed you at your game, I did at least know who they were playing.
I am proud. Do you know where they're located in New Mexico?
Dude, I can name.
I don't know where they are either. So I was
about to say I can name one town in New Mexico. Anyway, A&M Commerce, Sam Houston. Lions are getting the upset. I'm calling it. And that's going to be so glorious if they do get it. It is in Huntsville.
I don't
but
think that matters now.
not anymore. There's going to be 3,000 people there, and there may be more Commerce fans, honestly, because I'm gonna take A&M Commerce because I think that I don't know, they look better, and Sam Houston looks really bad. And go ahead.
They lost to Tennessee Tech though.
Yeah, and they were leading a majority of that game.
Yeah, and I actually know the coach. I know Coach Alexander at Tennessee Tech. I know his sister, so I
basically know him.
I basically know him. We're basically like best friends now. No, but like in all seriousness, like I don't know. The thing is, I don't think Commerce. I think Commerce will hang in. I think it'll be a good game. They could pull the upset, but I strongly doubt Sam wants to get embarrassed back-to-back weeks at home. They'll be fired up for it. They'll figure their stuff out. So it's hard for me to pick against the Bearcats, but they may win without scoring a touchdown though. Maybe all field goals.
But also, this is Texas A&M Commerce's first big major division.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, there could be more Commerce fans there than Sam Houston.
Screw it. I'll take the Lions. I'll be part of that.
See, I'm good at peer pressuring people.
I will. You know what? You sold me. You sold me because Sam only had 7,000 people at their game against the other Lumberjacks of D1. Only 7,000, and the fact that they lost, they're probably only gonna have 5 or 4 at the game this weekend.
Seriously, I'm telling you.
See, Commerce fans travel extremely well. I'll take the Lions.
We're all going to be wrong.
They had the sickest
I'll take
midfield.
the Lions.
They had the biggest they used to have the biggest midfield logo in college football, and then they had to reduce it. But it was so sick when that.
I don't understand why they had to do that.
I don't know.
They had one of the coolest fields in all of college football, in my opinion.
Yeah.
One of, not the.
One of. I need to ask Ryan Ivey why that happened, because he was the AD there before he went to Nacogdoches, and I mean that was so sweet when they had that giant ass lion that went from the 30 to the 30 and sideline to sideline. That was so sick.
It was a little bit. I think that was harder to watch on TV than.
I was like, don't you even insult it with your stripes.
No, listen. I think it was harder to watch than the stripes because. So I think it was Harding that played there, Harding University, which I'm from Searcy, and so we knew some of those guys, and we were watching them on TV in the playoffs one year, and I was like, dude, it's hard to see it, and if you get to the corner of the screen and one of the points of the line main is sticking up, it looks like a flag, and I don't know, it was just weird. I think it's easier to watch the stripes because at least they're straight. But anyway,
ladies and gentlemen, that is the Will Seiler Homer pick of the week.
Get used to it. Utah Tech traveling to Ogden to take on. See, if you'd asked me where Weber was, I would have said Ogden. But you didn't. You went east of the Mississippi. But I think Utah Tech's improved. But if Weber is doing to Utah State what they're doing to Utah State, then I'm going to be hard pressed to, pick against them.
Yeah, sorry, Coach, because it's going to be another one of those games that's ugly. It may not be as ugly as the Utah State game, because this is again another one that's one of those sort of almost letdown things because you're on that high of getting the win. But I don't see Weber struggling with this. I see them grilling the Trailblazers pretty good that game. So
is it Jay Hill or is it Nick Hill? That's it. Which one's at Weber?
I think it's Jay Hill.
I think it's Jay. Nick is at SIU.
Southern.
Yeah. I don't think I'm sure he pumped his guys up to play Utah State. Hey, in-state opponent, FBS school. That's a rivalry game.
Yeah,
but I don't think he's going to let them get down for another in-state opponent. Yeah, hey, guys, you just knocked off Utah State, but here's the deal. The way we felt, this week is how they feel, or last week is how they feel this week. They think they can come in, get a big win. And so I don't think he lets them have a down game. So I think they roll.
Yeah, I mean, with what Weber State did this past week, I'm pretty sure Montana State fans are looking at that like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Because last year Weber sucked.
They
Sucked.
they
So
I don't know how you describe that because they were the best, like whatever they were 6-5 that they finished out last year, 5-6. They were the best team at that. They had so many like injury issues and other things that really plagued them. And I think they're showing now like what they could have been last year. And it is, I mean, yeah, the Big Sky is definitely almost would say it's a 4-horse race because Eastern Washington has looked good so far in their games. Although Eastern Washington's got a brutal schedule with 2 FBS opponents. But yeah, like I think people were sleeping on the Wildcats because of how they played with what happened last year, and I could see them beating Montana State. Like you know, like it's gonna be fun to watch the Big Sky as it gets into the back half of the year.
But I'm picking Weber in this game.
Yeah.
But again, like I've said every week, it would not surprise me if Utah Tech stays in the game for a little bit.
Yeah, they're slowly getting better each week, and that's what you like to see.
You're saying, I guess, pre-show, before the show, the state of Utah, there's some good football there right now.
It really is, like both at the FBS and FCS level, and it's really good to see that. You know, I think it'd be awesome if Weber left the Big Sky and joined the WAC, but I don't think that's happening. But just for football and the rest of the state, that would be a lot of fun. You'd have a lot of fun in conference rivalries, but we all know that's not going to happen. Yeah. That's a nice pipe dream. Now people are going to be like, what? Weber going? No, guys, I didn't say that. I said it would be nice, but we know it's not going to happen. Okay. Let's settle down because I can see people firing off on Twitter tomorrow or whenever this comes out. Just no. I didn't say that they're doing it. I just said it'd be nice. like getting the NCAA ticket presale, which we can get to later. Let's get the game of the week.
Yeah,
but before we go to the game of the week, Will, just real quick, I want to personally recap the current game of the week standings because I do believe that a certain for those of you who are listening to this, Will has taken himself out of the stream.
We both are tied for first.
Yeah, the two that are on the screen are tied for first. For those of you who couldn't see, Will hung his head in shame. We're gonna bring him back in. There he is. Come back, Will.
Oh, he's on the bottom like he is in the standings.
It's all good. Minor setback, major comeback.
Oh, listen, we still got plenty of weeks left. You could always come back.
Tons of weeks.
Probably not happening this week.
Nope.
Plenty of weeks left.
Meanwhile, me and Dustin are about to throw hands for the rest of the season.
That's right. Just as long as you're not the one who's gonna have to wear that shirt in Frisco that says "I suck at picking games," because I think that's what it's gonna come down to. I think
that would be him.
All good. All good. Who's somebody else gonna host the show now? Because I'm out.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Yeah, game of the week. North Alabama making the trip to Chattanooga. I think I get back on the board. I don't think I make up any ground this week, but I think I get back on the board. I think I put some points up. I need like a double or nothing or something. Like I need to be able to wager more, but I can't. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about this one, but I didn't struggle to pick it. I'm rolling. I'll just cut to it. I'm picking Chattanooga, and I think they win by a decent amount, but I think it's a big game for both teams. North Alabama could really take a step forward if they were to pull it out, and if they're playing in Florence, I might go a little bit different if they're playing at Braley, but they're not playing there at Finley. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Stadium there.
Finley Stadium. Yeah.
So I'm going with Chattanooga to get it done. So get me back on the board, guys, please.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason too I wanted this to be game of the week is because we do have a nice devoted Lion listener. So shout out
Brandon Haddock.
Yeah, Brandon Haddock.
Haddock. I don't know how you say it. Sorry if I got it wrong, but appreciate you listening all the time, commenting down below.
Yeah, man. We appreciate the support, and if you got more than 2 right on the FCS geography question, you might get something. So anyway, yeah, I don't think the Lions just can keep up with Chattanooga. Chattanooga's looked really good in the games they played this year. They beat Eastern Illinois by 18, and they completely shut out Wofford. And granted, Wofford is not great, but I just think that UNA is just not there yet. If this game wasn't in Florence, I might think it's going to be closer, but not at Finley. I think Chatty takes this one pretty easily by three or four scores.
Yeah. So last season it was a complete shutout by UTC, 20-0, and that was in Florence. I don't think this year will be a complete shutout. I think UNA will put a couple scores on the board, but I'm ultimately, it's hard for a team like UNA to go into Finley and win. Because we've played there numerous times and we never had any issues. But a team like UNA, it's hard for a new FCS team or an inexperienced FCS team to go into Finley Stadium and beat Chattanooga. But I think UNA will put a couple scores on the board, but I'm picking Chattanooga.
I think we're in agreement, which at some point I'm just going to have to start picking whoever you guys don't pick.
I'm almost now afraid that UNA might pull the upset because we'll pick Chatty.
Hey, we would still be in first rev.
You guys cannot make any. You can't lengthen the lead on me this week at least. So
no,
I'll just start.
This is a pretty easy one to pick, to be honest.
Yeah, but I am excited for it. I do think it would be great if North Alabama did get the win. I hope they do. I really like what you guys have going down there. I really like your coach. Love hearing him talk. I think he's a great personality to lead your program. So really excited about guys cooking there in Florence. Even though when you come to Conway, I'm going to hate you because I hated you as a 6-year-old kid. That was a big rivalry back in the day.
I was about to say, wasn't it a rivalry game?
Huge. We hated each other, or at least we hated them. But I don't know how they felt. They probably had more of a rivalry with Valdosta. But
no, West Georgia.
West
Alabama.
Or West Alabama, yeah. That was going to say, weren't they heated?
Probably. But anyway, yeah. I like you guys. Hope you guys win this week. Good luck to everyone in the AQ, whatever, 7, 9, 10, whatever it is.
The WACSUN. The
WACSUN. Everybody in the WACSUN. That's a better name. They should have gone with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I guess that wraps it up for tonight. We went a little long, so if you're still here, props to you. Sorry you had to sit through my embarrassment of a performance. Dad, if you were watching, I'm sorry. You raised me better. And I will study and do better next time.
Yep.
But you guys have anything to say before we sign off?
Yeah, just a reminder. One, there wasn't really a rev rant this week, but just a reminder, national championship tickets go on sale Friday. And if you're cool enough to have a pre-sale code, that goes this week too. Get your seats for Frisco. I know it's a Sunday game, but it's a better kickoff time than we would have had on Saturday. I think it gives you guys – at first I was a bit against it, but now I think about it. It lets you to have a really good weekend in Frisco too. So, get your tickets. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's always a fun game. Who knows? It could be North Dakota State and Incarnate Word at this point with the way those two teams have been playing.
Yeah.
You're you don't know who it's going to be, but one thing I can tell you, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're all going to be there. So get your tickets. Get them as soon as they go on sale.
I will get mine on Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't know.
We got to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't understand why my pre-sale was a day later than yours, but whatever. It's all good.
Yeah.
If you're not already a subscriber, like I said earlier, make sure you subscribe to the channel down below. Yes. A lot of great content, live streams, everything. Make sure you are getting those notifications so you can get some good FCS content. I think it's the best place to get it in the whole realm of subdivision. So make sure you're doing that. Make sure you join the Facebook page so you keep up with everything there. We have a weekly pick'em. It's going on. Jacob Martinez is running that. I forgot to get my picks in this week. That sucks.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
But make sure you're join in doing that. A lot of great things, great community, great content coming at you. So that's all I got. Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right. Everybody enjoy your week 3. We will be back to hopefully have a better middle segment next week. Adios.